I was trying to find a good light by the window, but this is going to be Atlanta Housewives season 16, episode 10, Mediation and Meditation, or Meditation and Mediation. Whichever one, they didn't do neither on this episode. So I don't know who making the titles. It should have been called uh Shamia and Porsche. No, Friend or Foe, or wanna be starting something. I don't know, but not no dang mediation. Anyways, Kelly and the kids. That's where we open up the episode. We already know that her ex-husband, that relationship is not going so well with their little divorce, but with her father of her first daughter, Chloe, the oldest one, her and her dad actually get along and they can co-parent. So, it's something that she hopes that Mark, I believe is his name. I guess we're gonna call him Mark. Yeah, hopefully it's something that they could work on within this divorce situation. And we learned that Kelly can't cook. Kids gonna tell everything. Okay, somebody is mowing the lawn. I don't even know if y'all can hear that, so I might have to move. So we flip over and Shamia is meeting up with Ralph. So I think everybody was probably side-eyeing this, like, what the heck is she here to talk to Ralph about? But apparently they done did a podcast together maybe once or twice and it works out. So, they ain't got no ill will towards each other. It's pretty friendly. But basically just networking. He wants a little help from Shamia to start his own little thing, so okay, she said, cool, I ain't got no beef with you or nothing, so fine. Talk about how he met Drew, a little fast romance, and they was married within a year, had they baby, like just everything, and now he just don't know or don't like who she's become, blah 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 blah. And plus the dentist thing, right? So whatever. I guess this dentist thing kind of prompt Portia to show up, because she does, and she just wants us to know in her confessional that, listen, she ain't like Ralph's friend or nothing, hanging around with him, blah 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 blah. She just here just to spill a little tea, let him know some things, and maybe also get a little clarity for herself. Basically, when it comes to Dennis, that like she showed him a text message between Dennis and Drew to prove that, it was Drew who wanted to, look how long it's been in the video, to fuck Dennis. It wasn't the other way around. So, but he, slide it up on the pad, like, what he say? Text Drew, I wouldn't F her and run me my money. Something like that. I can't even remember if Ralph was surprised or not about that. His reaction wasn't memorable, which means maybe he just didn't care, or obviously he just didn't believe it. But I mean, of course he played into all the things to say, well, she was doing some stuff. She was messing around with Ty. Everybody know Ty Young, which was very convenient because I just watched Basketball Wives, and Ty is on there. Like, interesting, right? Okay. But they do ask Ralph, did he cheat? Of course he says no. I don't know. Whatever. The girls, I guess they got what they wanted out the conversation. It is what it is. Oh yeah, and also, by the way, Shamia is cool with Drew. She ain't got no beef. It was Portia's beef going on with Drew. Plus, because they thought they was talking about the Pilar thing. Like, I guess the way that Shamia told Portia that, I'll make enough money for Pilar to go to college, and if not, well, I'll make enough money for some snacks. Like, I don't know, whatever. The way Shamia put it to Portia, it made it seem like, ooh, she was coming at me trying to say, talking about my daughter, this and that. So the way, we'll flip later, because she figured out once Angela explained it, that's not really how it happened. And also, Portia severed ties with Drew when it comes to that naked hair situation. So Portia and Shamia kind of bring up the fact that or at least Shamia brings up the fact that she's just getting a lot of heat coming around on her just for being Portia's friend. Like, it's like, why do they want her to be holding accountable for being held accountable for Portia's actions? And it's not like that. Like, I'm just her friend, and I work the way I work on my own, and the way that I react is the way I react, and the way that you guys receive it should not be the way that you are taking it. Okay, so we run around to Angela and we find out she actually has 5 investment properties. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $2 million in debt because Miss Mama ain't sold name one of them yet. Okay, name one. And I'm like, oh my God, we saw her working on one, which means are all of them in the work in progress except for the one that we're shooting at. Like, I'm not sure how this is going, but either way, girl, you need to sell something. I don't know. Maybe that's maybe that's why Charles ain't really taking you serious. Cause girl, you should have sold at least one before we bought maybe 2 or 3 or 4 more. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, Kelly meets up with her, looking around. She throws a little shade at the house, like, ooh, low ceilings, this and this and that. Okay, girl, you're going to, do your best. I look, hope for it. You can shoot for 3 million and maybe get one. You know, Angela asks Kelly if she knows anything about Charles, like any rumors or whatever, because she was the one that was kind of helping, bringing up stuff. She says, well, I mean, the baby, if that's what you're talking about, like, do he got a baby? Where the baby come from? And Angela proceeds to say, well, okay, there was a baby, but it wasn't from Charles. This was before I met Charles. This was my ex, my first, her daughter's dad or whatever. He did this on her. And when she talked to Wendy Williams about the situation, because she was trying to relate to her when it came to Kevin and Sharina, whatever, Wendy flipped it on her and said it was Charles and put it all in the blogs and on the show and all that type of stuff. So that's where the rumor came from. But no, it wasn't Charles, so you could dead that. He did, however, have some cheating stuff going on, and maybe some little rocky situations where they had to break up in their marriage, or I don't know if they were married or not, but either way, because of that Madison Square Garden situation, I'm not sure if I would blame that on breaking up a relationship or somebody cheating just because you got banned from showing up because I don't know the story, but did he get in a fight with somebody or whatever, girl. It had to be something else. That's all I'm thinking. So what about this friendship between Angela and Shamia? Kelly, like, wants to know, like, it's like Angela feels that, well, Shamia has confided in me to let me know that, she has some feelings towards Portia that she is having a hard time relaying, you know what I'm saying? So here, Kelly is trying to say that Angela needs to mind her business and things like that, right? But you the one, Kelly, that started the mess when we got to the end, So I don't know. But Angela does want it to be out in the open and to bring it up and get all the girls together, just like she tried to bring Drew together. I don't know. She's the bring together girl. I don't. You watch the show enough to know that, okay, well, we need one girl to keep it all together. Well, okay, sure, fine, but it doesn't work that way. Like each episode or each situation, that's gonna be you. All right, so we go to Brittany's house, and she with her husband, and it looked like they was preparing dinner or something, but also preparing for her mom to come. I think she's gonna stay with them for a minute or something like that. But of course, the situation between her sisters, one of the issues has to do with her being married with the husband. So that's something that they need to try to fix and work out, which we'll kind of mention, I guess, a little bit later. Well, I guess I'll say it now. Yeah, she tells the lady that, or the ladies, some at some point, he and I can't remember if it was the oldest sister or the middle sister. I think it was the middle sister. They ended up having a one-on-one or a FaceTime with each other, and they squashed a little bit of beef that they had. So it's a little bit, things is running a little bit smoother between the two. And I mean, I don't know why she needs to let us know that they like to walk around naked in the house. Okay. And her relationship with Angela. Yeah, it ain't going so well. Yeah. She not sure if they really going to be friends or not, because yeah, it's the way that they came at each other at that party. Yeah, it was I think Brittany wasn't ready for that. Like, I don't think she saw it coming. She was, was pretty shocked, like, dang, I know she was gonna come at me like that, but it is what it is. She brings up the fact that Charles probably got that baby or whatever, like Angela always, it's always in everybody else's business, but what about that baby, this and this and that, which we already know is not really the baby. So whenever she do try to bring that up, it ain't gonna land. Angela and Portia meeting up at one of Angela's rentals properties. It wasn't really nothing to this besides them just playing tennis back and forth. Angela was throwing a little shade because she was, Portia called her Big Bird, so she called her Snuffleupagus. I'm guessing because of the lashes. Because I ain't think about, like, why would she call her that? But I'm like, oh, maybe it's the lashes. I don't know. Yeah. But either way, she just didn't want Portia all up at her house, with her talking about she trying to, mess with Charles and all that type stuff. Like, you ain't gonna come nowhere near over here. So we gonna meet over here instead. Okay. Understandable. Because that's exactly what happened. She Fallon invited them over to her house. Don't let her in your house, in the backyard, in the pool. And they do talk about Angela and her daughter in that situation. But with that, it kind of leads into, is this where she told her about Shamia? Or did she tell her about Shamia later? Yeah, I think this was in that. I think because Portia brings up she wants to have a pamper party. Um, that it's a line of sheets for your bed, like bed sheets, which I actually bought some, not for myself. Everything I buy from the Bravo girls, I usually buy from my mom. So I don't actually have none of the products except for a Mommy Nation sweatshirt. That's the only thing, because I ordered one for my mom, but I didn't really I wanted to get a different one, so I ordered a different one instead, and I just kept that one instead of returning it. So, but other than that, I think I mentioned I got embezzled hat, or I bought an embezzled hat. I bought a She by Sheree shirt. Who else? La Dame, the perfume and the candle. And I think that's it. Anybody else? She talks about the dinner with Ralph and Shamia, um, and how, bringing up the dentist thing again with Drew, and how basically, right, she's the one that was trying to mess with him. It wasn't the other way around. So, this and this and that. And Angela is just like, listen, I don't know about all of that, because that's not what I heard. And then she brings up the comment about what Drew said about paying for Pilar's college, right? And yeah, Angela like, I mean, she did say that, but that's not the way, like, I got the message, or it sounded to me. So I think the way maybe Shamia said it, it could have been embellished, or maybe she just, yeah, maybe she forgot some words, or I don't know. But that's not how I took it. So Angela is like, listen, I don't know. I do want to tell you something though, right? So she tells Portia, um, that, oh, no, no, no. Before that, Portia says that she thinks that Drew did not want her on the show, which is interesting because, okay, so Portia's been gone for maybe what, a good 4 or 5 years off the show. I can't remember. Has it been that long? Maybe 2 years. Maybe I'm gonna say it feels like that long, but it might have just been a good 2 or 3. Right? It hasn't been that long. Um, I think once they were fishing for new people to be on the show, like the time that Candy had quit, maybe, I'm thinking, like, I'm just trying to think of like when would something like that be possible? It would have to be when they're starting to film or before they start to film, so that they can have all, need all the ladies first hand picked or whatever, right? So I wonder if it was about that time where Candy had ended up leaving. So it was like an open spot right there. Either way, she's talking about Drew had a list of ladies, and I think she just wasn't on it. I don't know. I didn't, like I said, I'm not sure if I can believe it or not. Angela don't look like she can believe it or not. I'm like, I don't know. But this is where Angela changes the subject to bring up the Shamia thing. Like, well, Shamia has been confiding in me about some things about you, Portia. I just wanted to let you know that, she feeling some type of way. Like, that she in your shadow and this and that. And, like you wasn't appreciating her music that day. And this, so Portia, she listening, right? And then all of a sudden, she just covers her face, like, and then she just starts to cry. And then she like, oh, I gotta go, and this, like, so it's like, oh no, like she was actually really, really hurt, right? Because you're supposed to be my friend, right? And you're supposed to be telling me stuff, but you're telling other people instead. So this is where things get a little bit rocky. So the mediation part of the title comes in this part, which is Drew. Drew had her and Ralph had some another mediation coming up, where they gotta, do the extra stuff in they little divorce. The next step that the judge did was seize communication between them, so they actually cannot even talk to each other at this point. They can only talk between lawyers and relay messages like that. So, and they also cannot tell the kids. I'm like, oh Lord, y'all is in for another crazy stuff. She has a little therapy session, and then that's kind of when I checked out. Okay, so the pamper party. Everybody shows up. It's kind of like a pajama jam almost type situation, because everybody showed up in their pajamas, which is cute. And Portia gave them these like robes so that they can wear to kind of match what everybody had on, So it's pretty cute, pretty cute. Everybody was cute, cute, cute. Kelly. Okay, so Angela should mind her business, but what about you? Because you over here telling Shamia everything that Angela said, right? So now Shamia like, oh, really? So now she mad and upset, like just as instantly as Portia was, because right, you supposed to be my friend and you just going and talking to them, but you ain't talking to me, right? So we go into this meditation. This is where the meditation part of the title comes into play, which is led by Lauren, Portia's sister. She doing like meditation stuff with the sound bowls and all that stuff, the sage and da da da. So everybody know when you do the sound bowl, you're literally supposed to be like acting like you sleep. Okay, if not, fall asleep. All right, because you meditating, calm in your body, listening to the sounds, listening to whatever the person's saying to you, this and that, going deep, 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 you know how they lead you into that whole thing, right? We've seen it a million times on like every show. Shamia was like, nope. She was sitting straight up while everybody else was laying down trying to get into it. She was like, I don't even, what she say? I don't feel safe or something like that. I don't know, but she was actually kind of tripping. Just I was thinking like, girl, you could have at least did, I don't know, try to calm yourself with the meditation. Maybe it would have calmed you down, but nope. She just was like, so Kelly was over on her side trying to get her back on track. Like, calm down, girl. It's okay. Da, da, da. Maybe you just need to talk to her. It's all right. Just, you know, she right there. Just da, 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 da. So when once they kind of broke out of it, because they can hear, you know, it's not like she was being quiet about it. And hell, we all right here. We can hear you like loud and clear. You're talking about me. So Portia is getting mad herself. And Angela kind of pipes in, you know, the extra little person to say, yeah, I think you guys need to talk about it because it's, you know, she told me this. And Kelly's like, yeah, I heard the same, you know, this and this and that. And you just need to just let it all out. This is the right time, the right moment. And Shamia was like, okay. And she pretty much just was like, yeah, Portia, I just basically just can't believe you. How would you do some things like that? Like, you supposed to be my friend. I thought that we, you know, which I think we all pretty much thought is y'all two versus the other ladies. It's not supposed to be us versus each other. And in this, I think they both realize it's okay. Maybe we do. I mean, we are both mad at each other. Like we really are mad. But maybe listening to Angela and Kelly, you know, I don't know if they both should be the devil on the shoulders, but I think that's hurting this relationship. So maybe we do need to, right, we need to think about some things and reevaluate the situation. Especially too on Portia's side, because her mama is also on her shoulder. Like, yeah, you better watch her, girl. Like, you know, and I would think that you would know her all her life as well. So I don't know why you would say that, because yeah, it's in the back of Portia's mind. So if anything, yeah, they probably shouldn't be listening to them, and they don't. We don't end the episode with them coming together. We pretty much end with both of them being yeah, just being upset with them, with the group, pretty much, with it, as well as with each other. So I guess we'll have to get the part two when they come back on the end of the episode, just to see if they do circle back, because I'm sure they will have a one-on-one at some point. But then I'm thinking, when Phaedra pops up, because I'm not sure what episode this was 10, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're gonna get her at some point soon, right? Portia and Phaedra got a thing, so will that thing get in the way of Shamia and Portia thing? You know, freaking frat, okay? And ooh, yeah. Maybe we can get a little bit of something if Shamia brings it up about Candy, because remember, she put Shamia's name in it to say, yeah, this and that, and was messing with. They tried to get Shamia to this and this. And, remember? I don't know. That would be something though. But either way, um, yeah, talking about the friendships behind their back. I don't know. Is the group breaking up the friendship? Yeah, Angela, Kelly, very, very messy in this episode. I'm not sure what their angle was here. If they were doing, I mean, they were doing this on purpose, but what was the angle? To actually break them apart, or to actually put things all on the flow? Okay, so that was the episode. We'll talk to you soon. Say bye. You want to say bye? Bye.